What's up, everyone? I'm Coach D. So we need to have a good national conversation about race relations in this country, because I think that a lot of times when the right, Republicans, talk about racism, they talk about it in the form of, the old saying that there was sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. And so they like to surround the conversation around, it's just words, Don't allow words to dictate your life. Don't allow words to make you angry. Don't allow words to make you sad. Don't allow words to make you react, right? And it is just a really ignorant understanding that they have of what racism really is and how we deal with racism being black people, brown people, and so forth. We don't teach our kids to be afraid of words. I've never taught my daughters to go around and be hurt by words. But what I do teach them is that words lead to actions, sometimes lead to legislation, and those actions and that legislation is what actually hurts us when we're talking about racism. And so there's this video of RFK Jr. talking to black people about racism. And the things he says kind of goes along with this. What I'm saying is an ignorant conversation about how race and racism actually affects people. And you can see the look on the black people's faces there that they were like, is this guy serious right now? But again, this is not just RFK Jr. who thinks this. This is what the Republican Party thinks. This is when people tell you things like, oh, it's just words. Who cares about words? You could say anything about me. It doesn't bother me. That is because they think racism is just the N-word, when it's way larger than that.
I had a great education. I had a family who loved me. I had role models in my country. I had confidence in my own future. Oh, those kind of things had no impact on me. And that's the kind of resilience that we want to give the black American children, so that they have so much confidence in their own future that when they do encounter the inevitable racism, that it will bounce off them, that they'll be, like the Avengers, they'll be immune to it. And then we don't have to stop racism altogether, because we're never going to be able to do that, but we can have children that are not affected by it, that don't internalize it, that don't see it as their problem. They see it as the person whose race is a problem.
First of all, how do you propose giving black kids resiliency? Do we just call them the N-word, call them out of their name, make jokes about them, racial epithets at them all the time so that they can become Avengers and these things can bounce off of them? How ignorant of a statement is that? We don't care about words. We care about actions, bills, and legislation. You see, someone calling me the N-word doesn't bother me as much as the position the person might hold that is calling me or some other kid the N-word. A principal who uses the N-word will probably discipline black kids differently than they discipline white kids. A police officer who uses the N-word could possibly pull over more black people, interact in a negative way with more black people, and end up killing a black person because of their racism. Legislators who use the N-word, again, the word itself isn't that big of a deal, but a legislator who uses the N-word also tries to write bills that discriminate against black people. No one is ever going to become the Avengers and have anything bounce off of them. But we're not teaching our kids to cry about words. When we talk about fighting against racial injustice and us being woke and how Black Lives Matter, we're talking about stopping actions, bills, and legislation that disproportionately, negatively affect black people. So when we have these conversations about race in this country, let's stop thinking we're talking about words. There was a police department not far from my home where a bunch of police officers were found to have been texting each other the N-word and openly talking about, racially profiling black people. That's what we care about. When we hear about a judge who's been texting the N-word or who called their neighbor the N-word, we don't want black people coming in front of that judge to be handed out some type of a punishment for a crime, because that judge is not going to be an objective judge. The conversation is about the things that negatively affect us, that change our lives and sometimes end our lives. These are the conversations we should be having. These are the things we're trying to dismantle, not some freaking words. We don't care about words. We care about actions, bills, and legislation. Period.
Don't want no enemies or ops. Envy in their heart, I tell them stop. Vacation on the yacht.